Param Vijayate Sri Kṛṣṇa Sankirtanam. Total world victory of Hare Krishna. My name is Sitapati Das.
My name is Danna Devi.
And today we're joined by Chris Briscoe, all the way from the UK. Welcome, Chris.
Hi, Hare Krishna.
And this is Bhagavad-gita as it is, 248. Bhagavad-gita, the Song of God, as it is, by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Chapter 2, Contents of the Gita summarized. Traditional name?
Sankhya Yoga.
Yes. Text number 48. Okay. Yoga-sthaḥ kuru karmāṇi saṅgam tyaktvā Dhanañjaya siddhi-asiddhyoḥ samo bhūtvā samatvam ucyate.
Okay, how?
Let me make it bigger.
Yeah, please.
Like that. Huge.
That's better.
Yeah. Yoga-sthaḥ
Steadfast in yoga.
kuru
Perform
karmāṇi
your duty.
saṅgam
Attachment.
tyaktvā
Having abandoned.
Dananjaya
Or Dhananjaya.
siddhi-asiddhyoḥ
In success and failure.
samaḥ
The same.
bhūtvā
Having become.
samatvam
Evenness of mind.
yogaḥ
Yoga
ucyate.
is called.
All right. Chris, would you like to read the translation?
Okay. Right. Yeah. So, yoga-sthaḥ, steadfast in yoga. Oh, translations. So,
Translation, yeah.
yeah. Be steadfast in yoga, O Arjuna. Perform your duty and abandon all attachment to success or failure. Such evenness of mind is called yoga.
Jai. Okay, the purport has 2 paragraphs. Do you want to take the first paragraph, Chris, and you take the second one, Davey?
Okay.
Okay. You want to do that, Chris? You take the first paragraph of the purport?
Kṛṣṇa tells Arjuna that he should act in yoga. And what is that yoga? Yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme by controlling the ever-disturbing senses. And who is the Supreme? The Supreme is the Lord. And because he himself is telling Arjuna to fight, Arjuna has nothing to do with the results of the fight. Gain or victory are Kṛṣṇa's concern. Arjuna is simply advised to act according to the dictation of Kṛṣṇa. The following of Kṛṣṇa's dictation is real yoga, and this is practiced in the process called Kṛṣṇa consciousness. By Kṛṣṇa consciousness only can one give up the sense of proprietorship. One has to become the servant of Kṛṣṇa, or the servant of Kṛṣṇa. That is the right way to discharge duty in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, which alone can help one to act in yoga.
Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and as such he is participating in a Varnashram Dharma institution. It is said in the Vishnu Purana that in the Varnashram Dharma, the whole aim is to satisfy Vishnu. No one should satisfy himself, as is the rule in the material world, but one should satisfy Kṛṣṇa. So unless one satisfies Kṛṣṇa, one cannot correctly observe the principles of Varnashram Dharma. Indirectly, Arjuna was advised to act as Kṛṣṇa told him.
Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. So if you're watching this on the internet, feel free to tag a friend or 10 in the comments to spread the good news of the Bhagavad-gita. So Chris, what we normally do here is we now look at the diff between the second and first edition. This, of course, is the first edition. I'm going to make a speculation here, see if I can get this from memory. I think in the second edition, it has the verse in the Vishnu Purana. Varnashrama Charavata Pumsam, something like that. Anyway, here is the diff, courtesy of Madhu Devis Prabhu. Nope, it doesn't have the verse in there. So it looks as though the translation has been changed. Let's get rid of this. You can see it's gone from, in the original edition, be steadfast in yoga, O Arjuna, perform your duty and abandon all attachment to success or failure. Such evenness of mind is called yoga. 2, perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. So there's quite a significant edit there, change in the, that's not the one I'm looking for. Here, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. A significant change, in the translation. And then here we have, this is Jayadvaita Swami's hand annotated 72 Mac, where he made the changes that he made to the 83 edition. But you notice there are no changes to the translation. So the translation changes have been done since the 83 revision. It's second edition 2 point something, not 2.0, where those were done. But you can see there's been some pretty hefty changes. Like yoga-sthaḥ was steadfast in yoga. He changed it to equipoised. If we go to have a look at the second edition online, we can see that yoga-sthaḥ here is, in fact, equipoised, whereas in the first edition, it is steadfast in yoga. And when we go to the annotated one here, we can see the justification for this. The equivalents for yoga-sthaḥ, tyaktvā, Dhanañjaya, bhūtvā, and samatvam have all been restored to versions closer to what Srila Prabhupada said. Here, the early editor changed the word-for-word meanings to fit the translation used, a translation with much borrowed from elsewhere. Now, there's a little bit more there, but I can't see it because this is blown up. But here, finally, we have the manuscript, Srila Prabhupada's manuscript. So in the manuscript, Srila Prabhupada put yoga-sthaḥ in equipoised condition, steadfast in yoga, versus equipoised in the second edition. Dananjaya, O Arjuna. Dananjaya, O Dananjaya. And here, Dananjaya, O Arjuna. So the word for words got heavily edited between the first and second edition. And this is actually an example of taking it closer to Srila Prabhupada's manuscript. Not all of the edits do that, but this particular one does. But should even that have been done? I don't know. He wasn't given the mandate to do it. But this is basically what we do in the first part of the class each time Chris is examine the differences. Have you ever looked at the differences between first and second edition like this?
Yeah, I have on some verses, yes. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So, yeah, for sure.
And then the only change that's been done in the purport is to add a comma in there. And that's it. Yeah, so let's have a look at the actual verse itself, eh? Anything else you wanted to have a look at before we do that?
The original manuscript of Srila Prabhupada.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is like listening to the original demo tapes, from the garage before they got signed. Translation. Do your prescribed duty in equipoised condition. To such duty without being attached to success or failure, and to remain just in equipoised condition is called yoga. To do such duty without being attached to success or failure and to remain in equipoised condition is called yoga. This without being attached to success or failure, it's like not the consequences. It doesn't, arguments about consequences are inconsequential. Purport. Kṛṣṇa says to Arjuna that he should act on the platform of yoga. And what is that yoga? The yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme Lord, and he himself says Arjuna to fight. From Arjuna's personal account, He has nothing to see about the results of the fight. Gain or victory, that's Krishna's concern. And Arjuna is advised to act according to the dictation of Kṛṣṇa. The following of that dictation from Kṛṣṇa is the real yoga, and everything lies there in the Kṛṣṇa consciousness. By Kṛṣṇa consciousness only, one can give up the sense of proprietorship. One has to become the servant of Kṛṣṇa, or servant of Kṛṣṇa. And that is right way of discharging duty in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, which alone can help one to act in yoga. Arjuna is a Kshatriya, or part of the Varnashram Dharma institution. It is said in the Vishnu Puranam that the Varnashram Dharma institution, the whole aim is to satisfy Vishnu. Nobody has to satisfy himself, as is the rule of the material world. One has to satisfy Kṛṣṇa. So without satisfying Kṛṣṇa, nobody can observe correctly the principles of Varnashram Dharma. Also, indirectly, Arjuna was advised to act as Kṛṣṇa said to him. Yeah, so there's the original manuscript.
You can have the feeling of, you know, the way when Srila Prabhupada talks in his classes, it's like that, you know.
Yeah.
It's so direct, uncompromising. It is A and it is B. There is no between any of those. So it's his essence, his persona is in his writing, and I love that. Because when they start changing things, it is just more coming to a more feminized style of speaking. And Srila Prabhupada never been feminized. He is 100% or 108% masculine.
Laying the smack down.
Yeah, you don't mess up with him. He's a genius person, you know. It's incredible.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, what I've got to say about this verse is just this: perform your duty and abandon all attachment to success or failure. Arguments about things like, we don't know what will happen with the chanting, which way the government will go. It's like, we don't care which way the government goes. That's attachment to success or failure. We simply perform our duty. We must chant.
And the other thing as well is like the spirit, how they changed the Bhagavad-gita is we need to be liked by people. We need to be accepted by people.
Here we go. Let's go here.
And because of that, we need to make changes to what Srila Prabhupada,
to the books,
to the books,
Purports,
and to the way
way we preach,
who he is, how he is, you know, how he direct and compromising he is. But they're more like feminized mentality of like, oh, you know, I have to say the right thing, otherwise I'm not going to be liked, or I'm not going to be accepted, and so, like trying to fit in. But how can you fit in the material world with that attitude and be strong in Kṛṣṇa consciousness? It's like you live in a gap to be influenced and to be manipulated by material world, but not what Srila Prabhupada intended to do in this material world, or how to live in this material world and get out of this material world. It was just so clear. It's black and white.
Chris, thoughts?
I think what Danna Devi was saying about Prabhupada 100% masculine like that. Never thought of that. That's a really, really good point. That's a really good point. And on that sort of subject, Sakshyas, that there's verses in 31 through to 38, because this second chapter has sections, and he's basically talking about Sakshyas when, I think in verse 31, considering the specific duty of Sakshya, and it goes on until the end of 38, where the verse actually reads, "Do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur sin," which is what this verse is. Be steadfast in yoga, O Arjuna, perform your duty and abandon all attachment to success and failure. Such evenness of mind is called yoga. So that's to me, that's tying into 38 and the the conclusion of that little section about Sakshas, about the Sakshya. So that's to me that's a tie, and it's the connections. Yeah,
and definitely the no attachment to the outcome.
Well, this is
In
a big.
both.
I mean, that's a big thing. This is what these leaders of the society, they want the results of their actions, but you're not supposed to get the results of the actions. And I remember watching a Mahabharata, I think DK Chopra or something. It was aired in the late 80s. Really, fantastic series. And at one stage, Arjuna is shooting with the bow and arrow when he was young, as a student under the tutelage of Dronacharya. And Dronacharya was saying when Arjuna was aiming and he was concentrating, there's some sort of story behind that. But but he basically said, you can do not consider yourself you don't have a right to the target. You don't have a right to the target to either aim on the target or not. But it's what you've got. It's what it's your actions in aiming to that. I can't remember it exactly.
It's the concentrate focus. Yeah, the being focused. Yeah.
Like that, yeah.
Just aim to the point. Don't get distracted.
Yes. Yeah.
And here, what we my observation is here in these days, Krishna consciousness is becoming more like the what do you call this one? In the teenage years of your life, you want to. It's just an example, boys or girls, they just want to do their best to fit in and to be acknowledged by the group and be famous in the group. They do everything to do that. And what's happening these days with this Krishna conscious world of the people is just they want to do that. We don't want to offend anybody else, we want to tell the truth in a way that is accepted by everybody else. So we have to dilute it, and we have to be like, everyone is a softie, so we have to present everything in a softy way, But the truth, the reality doesn't come in a softy way. The truth and the reality is not pretending to be. It is as it is, and no matter what you think or who you are, it is just the reality, how it plays. It is how the truth comes, and it comes. It is as it is, And that is the people have this thinking like, oh, I need to do anything to fit in. And now to the religious group, now in the sacred book, they're just diluting it to fit with the agenda of the, I don't know,
New World Order, the lizards.
You can call
Preach
that
the controversy.
Or the demonic mentality, So you cannot tell them anything. You cannot tell them the truth. They get so offended.
Chris, did you see the episode that we did in the weekend with Divyanga Prabhu?
No, I haven't watched it. I haven't watched those. I mean, it sounded. I watched the bits of it. It seemed really, really good, and that. But it's just, I've had problems with time and all kinds of things that happen.
Sure.
But
we just recorded it yesterday.
I know it's.
He's an old school devotee. He joined when he was 17. Wow. He was going to a concert somewhere, and he saw a van of devotees, and he figured that they were going there because he'd seen devotees at other concerts. So he got a lift with him, got in the van, and that was the end of his life. It's 50 years later. He's still distributing books. They sent him out on books at the concert that night, and he just never went home.
Wow, fantastic.
And that was it. 50 years later, he's still doing books. But he was telling about being in the Chicago airport, 26 devotees distributing books. The airport, in the end, he was the one who had to keep going back and getting arrested. He got arrested 20 times, put in jail. And then, after the 20th time, the ACLU lawyer managed to get a restraining injunction against the police in the airport, so they couldn't get arrested anymore. So the airport puts this thing that plays every 3 minutes over the PA system denouncing them, And so they're in there distributing books. The airport puts up signs. This is a very different world from like, we want to fit in. This is like, nah, you're going to have to deal with us. We're here and we're changing the world, It's like just a completely different mood. And yeah, that episode's great to listen to, the one with Divyanga. It's called Die Distributing Prabhupada's Books. Episode 16, I think, on the channel.
Yeah. Okay, just 1 minute.
Sure.
Wife is calling.
Yeah, he's going to let her know what he's up to. Or maybe he has to deal with something there, but yeah, sure.
no.
It's Sunday morning, and this was a
Yeah.
bit of an impromptu thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All good? You're all good to keep going with this class?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for making it work, and we really appreciate you taking the time on a Sunday morning there in the UK for both the Vedic Intelligence Report and the Bhagavad-gita class.
No, thanks. No worries. Not at all. I mean, I wasn't going to go into the first bit, but I thought, it was a bit of a struggle. I was trying to find. I found something last night and couldn't find the link, but the one or two things. So yeah, I mean, sometimes it's good to just start from the position of I don't know so much about this, and things can grow. Sometimes it's the best way. So who am I to deny that approach? Seriously, and things can happen. So this. Yeah,
it's really the structure of the Bhagavad-gita. You see, Arjuna's there and he has no idea what's going on, and then Arjuna's instructing him, and we learn by watching Arjuna learn. And so in the same way, when we learn something and then people watch us learning it, they're like, oh, okay, I can learn it as well. It's not that the world is composed of experts and people who know nothing. It's just composed of an unlimited number of people who are all learning stuff. That's who we all are, students forever.
Yeah, and I think I remember. Yeah, I can't remember. I remember being something about. Yes, something about that concept of I suppose teachers learning at the same time. That inspires the students too. I think it was even in
exactly.
But yeah, for sure. Yeah, so yeah, but for me, it's been I mean that thing you watched. I mean, there was that thing you mentioned. I think there might be the same thing or another thing that where some devotees, you on a podcast and some devotees were crying about something. And I've missed about the last one or two. So yeah, the time constraints have been frustrating, but no, this Bhagavad-gita, 48 about not about fitting in. There's this, it's a big, there's this need to fit into society, and it's a natural thing. It's like nature of reality. You've got two conflicting natures of reality, and this is one thing. It's like leading a double life in some sense, but the trick is mixing them together. It's like the Purport, he's a sannyas, but it's the highest order of sannyas, which is called Paramahamsa, and that is swan-like. That's that's the swan drinks, separate out the milk and the water from it, and it's like the real spiritual master can separate out the spiritual and the material. So this is a big trick. It's a big expertise, and just doing your duty, you're going to get attached to it. But if you can do it and not be attached to it, that's part of that process. So yeah, for sure. So I mean, like the previous verse 47, you're right to perform your prescribed duty, like I was saying with Arjuna and the arrow, but not entitled to the fruits of the action. So you're not the cause of the results of your activities, and even though you're doing the endeavor, and it's the endeavor that's the key, or the devotion, if you like. That's the central teaching. Trying to serve Kṛṣṇa rather than what we think will make us happy. So yeah. Can someone else?
There's other things to consider as well, like look into the word attachment, what that actually means. If you put yourself into the world of attachment, what do you experience about it? Let's say you attach to your cell phone, let's say, anything that happens to yourself when you're just freaking out, you get mad or you get frustrated. There's so many feelings and emotions that comes with that because you attach to it, you know. And if it chips, you just like nuts to the people who did that or what happened or who, you know, who was part of it. So there's a lot of emotions with that attachment. And if you have a failure, you know, we can see a lot of people that fails. What happens when people fail in a relationship or at a school or at work or in the competition or anything like that? They go into this world of, I can't do it. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve this. You know, there's so many negative things that comes with that, with the attachment.
Yes, can I say something about that to build on that?
Yeah.
It turns out that human beings are not actually committed to success. They're committed to avoiding failure. A human being is a failure avoidance machine.
I don't know. I played chess. I've heard so many chess players. That's one thing I do. I play in British championships and things. So many people say that the pain of losing is much greater than the pain and the joy of winning.
The pleasure of winning.
I never understood that. I mean, I play chess. You know, if you lose, something, you're doing your best, whatever. I mean, the main success is if you feel you're playing the best you can actually. You can actually, and you're pushing boundaries. It's kind of personal development. That's much higher than the sort of winning and losing bit. So that's what I teach my students in chess. So I've never understood that whole losing is much worse than winning. It's the same thing. That's not to say I'm not attached to either one, but that's how I
that's very interesting. Yeah, I can hear a couple of things in there. One is like, you know, the reinforcing the point I just made. The humans are not committed to success. They're failure avoiding machines. And the way the simple dynamic of that is that for the human being, the pain of failure is experienced as being a greater impetus, avoiding that, than the pleasure of success. If that's the simple calculus, if the pain of failure costs you more than, you know, gaining success, like, for example, if you're in a game where losing means you lose $10 and winning means that you win $2, the strategy is to avoid losing, right? Rather than to try winning, because the cost of losing is higher. So that simple psychological experience there will make humans failure avoidant rather than success chasing. The second thing I can hear is the way that you've dealt with it is there's a book called Finite and Infinite Games. And what you've done is you've changed the game from being that the game of chess is the game to a bigger game, which is the discovery of how to become the best that you can be at playing chess. And so the failure in the game itself is not actually the game. And it's kind of like changing the game from the human form of life to life after life with reincarnation, right? Because once Kṛṣṇa did that to Arjuna, that changed his whole context on the battlefield. It's like, hey, man, you don't die. They don't die. Are you kidding? Like, this game is not the all in all. This is just one step in a much bigger game. So it's kind of like that, you know, you change the chess game, which is like the one life, into the reincarnation, which is playing chess game after chess game after chess game and just getting better and better and better over time, you know?
There was something in the landmark, the attachment and commitment. Okay.
Attachment versus commitment.
There's two things, you know, if you're going to do a project, there's two things that we need to learn: attachment and what comes with attachment, and then commitment. So being committed here, it actually gives you the freedom to explore, to discover, to have fun, and so many things. Your way of being changes. When you are attached, your way of being changes too, to the most negative part of
failure
yourself.
Avoidance.
Of failure avoidance that you call it. And it is great that you are in that world of commitment and discovery and having fun when you play chess.
it's actually a key to actual performance.
Yeah.
Is that context shift.
Yeah.
Like in competing in bodybuilding competitions, I had to discover that exact same thing. And I saw people that do one competition, lose, and then chuck in the towel, you know. But you look like you had something that you wanted to add, or some response to that. Those
just,
riffs.
I mean, I teach chess in schools, and well, my wife, who's actually here, she teaches chess in schools as well. So, so we do that. Obviously, when this pandemic, well, this fake pandemic hit, then we were out of all the schools. Just like that, just like that. Fortunately, I was able to get chess club online because as well as teaching chess in schools, I run chess clubs outside, and we did something online, but I had to make a living, and so we got. I charged a monthly subscription for the people who are members. We had about 30-40, but in order to make it worth their while, we actually had matches arranged against other clubs, not just juniors but adults as well, not just in the UK but all around the world. And so I was doing a lot of that. So that we were able to do. And one thing, being a chess teacher, teaching chess is a positive thing, and you can sort of help you get into all the mentality of sort of winning and losing a bet. And these are adult emotions, and the kids are going through them. But the point is to say to them, to say to the children, what it's about, and looking at this higher game, about this personal development, part, as well as this whole winning losing, which is sort of lower things. So yeah. So I mean, that's a little bit about me and my wife. I don't think I'm even going to try and persuade to get onto this, Cole. I mean, you're welcome if you want to, but I'm going to struggle too much with that, I think. So, but yeah,
we have to get you both on for another one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, awesome. I mean, this verse, perform your duty, abandon all attachment to success and failure. It sounds, I mean, ideally it sounds good. I mean, you're looking deep into that. You think, you'll see that it is, it is deep. But I mean, the change of the verse, the equipoised. I mean, I looked that up. It meant a sort of state of equilibrium, and I mean, this is my opinion. I prefer this be steadfast in yoga, because equilibrium, it sounds like, I know, a bit more wishy-washy. Maybe I'm wrong, but steadfast in yoga, which is what this whole process is. Really, just I prefer that for myself. But what do you? So.
Well, I mean, equipoised is what Prabhupada typed in his manuscript. So the change from equipoise to steadfast in yoga was done by Hayagriva. And presumably without consultation.
I mean, to me,
with Srila Prabhupada is the idea.
Yeah. That's another thing about Prabhupada. It says, I mean, what you just said sounds, well, very strong. What can you say about that? And you can't, but the thing is, he says things like, when he reads the books, I was sort of seeing this the other day, and he says, I kind of read that, or it's Kṛṣṇa speaking through him, or something like that. That's to me incredible. Like when he, not so much Kṛṣṇa speaking through him, yeah, probably, but when he says, I kind of written that myself. That's a curious thing to me. I mean, what thoughts and conclusions I've got from that? None really. Just that. It's an incredible thing.
Yes, it's an incredible thing.
Yeah. That's why he's. Yeah. So there's something going on there, but with regard, I mean, book changing. I mean, I think he said to Hayagriva, keep the translations. They're not so important. It's the purports that are the bit. That's the real nitty gritty of it. So and you said that the purport pretty much stayed the same, but.
Yeah, the purport stayed the same with the addition of one.
I still think
which is in the online one.
I think that the translation be steadfast in yoga just to me reads a lot better, because in the thing he said it's like equipoised twice, I think, and I don't know. It's almost like him speaking when he says equipoised. You can imagine him speaking where he did. He put that in the dictaphone.
Well, he typed this one. This one was typed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's funny that what you've got in there, Prabhupada's thing. Incredibly, I've got a copy of that whole thing myself, and that was when I went about 20 years ago. Sort of a guy, Ritvik guy, gave that to me. I mean, I don't follow that philosophy. I don't really agree with that, but I went to that because I wanted to get a whole load of Bhagavad-gitas to original sort of copies of original ones to distribute into libraries. This is about 15, 20 years ago, and he got. So where did you get that copy from? Because I just thought it's from some court case or something. I can't remember. It's a long time ago. But where did
Bookchanges.com.
Oh, the piece of paper with the sort of edited stuff. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
Prabhupada's manuscript. It's on bookchanges.com. Yeah.
Okay.
Bookchanges.com. It has them. Apparently, the first 6 chapters were typed, and then the next 6 were, or then from then on, they were dictaphone.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, because I think was that the one that I think Gargamuni got Prabhupada dictaphone. He found his dictaphone from a shop, and there was some sort of pastime where the guy was telling, because Gargamuni wanted to do something. That's Brahmananda's brother, wanted to do something, for Prabhupada, make his whole process easier to, to translate. And so he was told how to do this dictaphone. It took him about an hour or two to pick it up, Gargamuni, the shopkeeper. And so he gets this. He gives it to Prabhupada and he says, "Okay, I'm going to teach you how to do it." Prabhupada says, "No need. No. It's taken me a long time to do it, but no, Prabhupada did it, and he just pretty much learned himself. He taught himself just like that. Incredible." So
amazing.
Yeah, that was in the Gargamuni book. I remember reading that.
Okay, I haven't read that book.
Yeah, I have to do a book review, and I've only just started reading the last few months ago, just thinking, actually, I've read some of this stuff. Maybe I should do a book review on something. That's something to do, I think, because the problem with a lot of this sort of conspiracy or any kind of thing is this: that the subject area is absolutely vast. It's huge, and so there needs to be some kind of focus on what's the summary of this, summary of that, to bring things together. I think that's what you get people in high government departments. You get departments, summarizing these things and stuff. That's how they work and make decisions. I mean, okay, badly or bad agendas, but that's how things are done. Anyway, so
Donna's going to come back and we can finish the finish out. No, that's cool. Go back to here. Yoga-sthaḥ kuru karmāṇi saṅgam tyaktvā Dhanañjaya siddhi-asiddhyoḥ samo bhūtvā samatvam yoga ucyate.
Be steadfast in yoga, O Arjuna. Perform your duty and abandon all attachments to success or failure. Such an evenness of mind is called yoga.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. And thanks for coming on for the Bhagavad-gita class today, Chris. And thank you to Mrs. Briscoe for allowing it to happen.
Mr. Briscoe to come.
Mrs. Briscoe, you're being thankful for allowing this to happen. So.
Thank you for giving us your husband this morning.
Yeah, thanks for giving us our husband this morning. So, okay. She just said she wasn't asked to give me away. So,
lending you. Yeah. Thank you to you and to your family. Have a great day. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Harival.
Oh my gosh, I look tired, honey. Oh.
Well, that's because we did 4 hours of podcast yesterday. Drove up to Auckland, went to a wedding, and then drove back down, and then just
And
jumped
then
straight
had a
into
bath
it.
until midnight.
Yeah.
And wake up early.
Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, total world victory of Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.